Well, yeah, he fought with it.
Drink, and when you drink like that, you live in your head a lot. At least I know I used to. And if Joey Janela is anything like that, yeah, I wouldn't want to be, Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford. That's his ex-girlfriend. It's probably best for him to step away, at least until he knows the wounds are healed.
I guess I didn't pick anything up.
The last little bit in AEW, it was all him and his ex and shit. That was the last little bit they were using him.
Yeah,
I like Joey Janela, and I hope he has a solid place on the AEW roster in the future.
Oh yeah, he's a great talent.
I thought Havoc was going to be announcing himself as gone long before Janela, but.
Well, the nice thing about AEW is they do seem to, I guess, this is the first I've heard about AEW trying to hold people back from working in other promotions, but the nice thing about them is they do seem to let other people work other promotions when they're not using them. So I'm sure Havoc is just like, it's like, hey, I'm working my MLW dates, I'm working over in Europe when I get to work it, and if AEW wants me, they'll call me up and I'll show up for a nice big money payday,
Yep.
Which is nice. That's great.
I think that you're going to see in the next 5-10 years, you're going to see a big swing to more free agents than contracted talent. And that's the way it should be. If you're going to be a independent contractor, you might as well just be independent.
The one thing that did stick out to me, though, was that, according to Janela at least, they were telling him, nope, don't do any dates, you're ours. I hadn't heard that before. I don't know where that comes from, but that's...
well, I know a lot of the talent, like, they're not allowed to be on TV in the United States. You know what I mean? And so I think that might be what he's talking about, is that. But he can do indies because they're not televised.
Right. His spring break is televised that he does.
Yeah.
But, so maybe that's something they were trying to hold him from, and he just... Maybe it wasn't a battle they wanted to fight. It's not a big enough battle. Like, okay, Joey Janela's Spring Break and Game Changer Wrestling. That's not going to take any viewers away from AEW. Yeah, you want to do that? Go do it. Fine.
And it's not like this isn't a thing we weren't going to see in AEW anyway. People are
it's something that's going to happen in
1 year
every company. For sure. You're always going to.
And honestly, it's more exciting. Like, I'm excited to see who jumps ship from AEW for WWE. We've seen it the other way already.
Yeah, and it's going to happen the other way.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time.
Yep. And that to me, it adds more to wrestling as a whole, and I like it, I guess.
Brings you back to the good old days with backstabbing and poaching.
And some boom boom. And some boom boom.
And some boom boom.
That's your cue.
Okay. All right, we'll do it. All right, Colt Boom Boom Cabana made a surprise appearance during AEW Revolution pre-show where he helped make the save for SCU after their loss to the Dark Order. AEW President Tony Khan has confirmed Cabana signed with AEW and is working in many roles for the company, saying, Colt's working here. Colt does have a variety of things. He's already started as an announcer, and now he's going to be working as a wrestler. He's debuted in a situation where you can kind of see, I could definitely see, Colt working for us on a regular basis. He can chip in as commentator, and he's also as a coach. He's a really valuable mind. He's signed here, but per my discretion, like a lot of people who are signed here, Colt can work other places. Joey Janela would disagree, but that's all right.
Also, Joey Janela was in at the beginning of the contracts. They probably didn't know entirely what they were doing or what direction they wanted to head, and now they're starting to see it. I don't think you're going to have a lot of complaints except for maybe some of those initial signees.
Right.
But we'll see. We will see. AEW followed that up when Jake the Snake Roberts debuted on this week's Dynamite and confronted Cody, revealing that he has a mystery client that plans on taking Cody's piece of the pie. And who will take out Arn Anderson as well. Roberts promised darkness is coming to AEW and said he's spent 20 years getting clean to earn this moment. Jake took to Twitter the next day and called that night one of the greatest moments of his life. He wrote, 1, thanks to DDP. 2, thanks to AEW for opportunity. 3, thanks to Jake for not giving up on sobriety. That was so hard. Wow. One of the greatest moments of my life.
This is so fucking cool.
It is
God
cool.
Damn, that's just so cool.
It's great he feels good about himself. The promo itself wasn't the best thing I've seen,
No,
but
it
it's
wasn't.
Jake the Snake, and it was cool to see. I'm guessing Brody Lee, which would be weird because Luke Harper's got that cage thing that just turned out to be a fucking mechanical spider, I guess. It's stupid. But,
Eric Rowan,
if Jake's going to take somebody on, I have to assume the Snake's going to get passed down. Wouldn't that be funny to have Brody Lee be the guy who has an animal in lieu of Luke Harper?
He doesn't even need an animal.
Or Eric Rowan. There you go.
But, yeah. I seen a GIF of that, and that's all I wanted to see. I was like, oh my God, that's a toy spider from Walmart.
yeah.
That's what the
and
deal
it
was?
spits blood in people's faces, I guess.
I didn't even see that, but who cares? I just think it's great. Jake had such a I don't even know how to describe it. Just watch the resurrection of Jake the Snake. Yeah. That's about the best I can say. But he's had such a low in his life, one of the lowest of so many humans, let alone wrestlers. For him to just be so happy just makes me happy. That's all I give a shit about. I don't give a shit that he's an old timer that's in AEW. I don't give a shit about anything else anybody complains about. He's fucking happy. And he made me happy for so many years as a child. The fact that he's happy now makes me happy. That's all I care about. Fuck everybody else. Wrestling's about being happy. I'm happy.
Yes.
There's a lot of hate on it. That's all I had to say. I'm just fucking happy.
I can't hate on it. It's cool. It's good to see Jake doing good and being able to do what he loves all over again. For sure.
He's not going to be wrestling, but he's in the wrestling world, and that really,
you don't think that's all he's ever wanted. Him and DDP? I think we could see that in AEW.
I hope not. I hope like hell not. Folks forget he was raised in a wrestling family. His father was a wrestler. His sister was Rockin' Robin. She was a WWF Women's Champion. You know what I mean? He's his whole family's just his life was just wrestling, and he let it consume him in a negative way, and that was his fault. 100% his fault.
It happened to many people.
He fucked it up, but he's done so much to try to make it better that it makes me happy.
I'm just proud to say he's still alive and kicking in 2020.
Too right.
Just lay that down, because I wouldn't have guessed it.
Not 20 years ago, I would. Honestly, 20 years ago, I wouldn't have guessed it.
Mm-hmm.
The things that don't make us happy, Pacey, is knocking out the injury report, but we have to do it. And we're going to start it out with Terry Funk, the man that we're still surprised in. 20 years ago, I wouldn't have thought he'd still be alive. Yet, here we are. We got the Funkster. Terry Funk canceled his scheduled appearance for the big event in New York City this weekend. The 75-year-old Funkster is unable to travel from Amarillo, Texas to New York City for the convention as he continues to deal with a number of health issues. None of them are the coronavirus. Funk is still scheduled for the Icons of Wrestling Convention and Fan Fest on Saturday, April 11th in Philadelphia. But if you have tickets for that, listen closely. PW Insider noted that this appearance should be considered iffy at best. We wish the best for the old Funkster. He's not getting any younger. No, middle-aged and crazy. He's not even middle-aged anymore. Man's old and crazy now.
75, that's kind of mid-age this era. Close, if you're lucky, I guess.
To me, mid-age would be middle, and 75 would imply 150 years old.
We'll get there.
Well.
We won't, but humanity will.
Yeah. Yeah, we won't.
WWE announced Asuka is currently suffering from a sprained wrist, which prompted them to pull her from Raw this week as she was not medically cleared to compete. There's no word yet on when Asuka suffered the injury. She was involved in the Women's Elimination Chamber contract signing last Monday, but hasn't wrestled on TV since losing to Becky Lynch on February 10th. The Kabuki Warriors did compete, though, at both WWE Live events this past weekend. That said, Asuka is expected to be able to wrestle in Sunday's Elimination Chamber, according to F4W Online. I hope so. That match is sort of hinging on her talent, I think.
Right? It'll definitely be felt if she's not there. Let's put it that way. Speedy recovery. Wish the best for her. Thursday morning, Pasty. Paige's boyfriend, Ronnie Radke, noted on Twitter that she underwent emergency surgery in Sacramento, California to remove an ovarian cyst. Ouch. Paige followed up later in the day saying she's doing fine. Quote, just an update. I'm fine, you guys. No more pain and healthy AF. Haha. Just another small speed bump and I'm used to it. Unquote. So good for her. Hope she gets a speedy recovery.
I'm sure she's used to bumping speed with all those wellness violations.
Mm-hmm.
Hee hoo hoo ha ha. According to Pro Sports Extra, Scott Steiner collapsed backstage at an Impact Wrestling show and needed his heart to be shocked.
That's shocking!
Call in the Shockmaster.
Where's Frank Ott when you need him?
But after what looked to be a fatal situation, the 57-year-old is said to be in a stable condition and is expected to recover. According to reporter Brad Shepard, a source indicated Scott Steiner is now stable and expected to recover. That's what I just said. From what was a legitimate life and death situation. I'm told he stopped breathing at one point and they had to shock his heart. Credit to a quick response on location by medical personnel. Wrestlers Tommy Dreamer and Scott D'Amaro accompanied Steiner to the hospital and confirmed that the veteran was recovering well.
Wow. That's good. That's scary as shit.
Thank God
Big
for
Papa
Tommy
Pump,
Dreamer.
You know, Big Papa Pump isn't old. 57. Like, holy shit, that's not old at all. But, man, between what he's put his body through in the ring and, just to be honest, the steroids, we know. We all know.
He worked through the hardest years of the business.
We all know, Scott, the steroids, they add to your heart. And, yeah, we hope the best for him. It's scary.
It is scary.
It's scary.
I wonder if we're going to see him in ring again.
As a fan, I hope so. As me looking at him as a human, I hope not.
Yeah.
But I hope I hear more promos from him. I can say that as both a fan and a human. I want to hear more promos, Scott. Start flapping them fucking lips. And while you get ready for that, I'm going to talk about how Kenny Omega suffered a hand injury while he was wrestling in AEW Revolution. In fact, F4W Online reports that it is a broken pinky. That would explain why the AEW Tag Team Champion and Executive Vice President was not at the follow-up Dynamite episode, Pasty. The injury will not require surgery, but he does have to wear a cast. It was speculated that Omega will work with the cast, but so far there is no word yet on when he's going to return to TV and in-ring performance.
Of course he's going to work with the cast. You have to. It's just a pinky.
There's a cast of characters. He's got the whole bunch of them.
He's going to be like Adam Rose now. Oh, right. No. Near the end of the main event of AEW Dynamite, Darby Allin went for a suicide dive on Jericho, as we had mentioned earlier in the night, when Jericho landed his Judas effect right on the side of Allin's head. A reminder, this was just 4 days after landing on his head during a botched suicide dive at Revolution. Well, it looks like that spot had sent Allin to the hospital after the show, as the coffin dropper tweeted, Still waiting to hear back when I can get into the ring after getting my skull smashed. He's excited to do it all over.